What is up? Welcome to another credit card news live stream. I'm Kyle Barton. I just want to give a shout out to everybody in the chat right now. Cheryl, I see you. Danny Boy, Miss Barton, Chilsey, Recon. So many people here right now. Plumber, Shanika, I see you. You repping the Eagles right now. All right. All right. So we have some news to get into. Got some news here. Let me make sure I'm on. Can you guys hear me? All right. Make sure my volume's up. All right, let's start it over. I think I just muted myself. Listen, this is live production, guys. Can you hear me now? Okay. All right. Good. All right. Let's start over. So the banks are planning the payment wallet. There's a new payment plan wallet to compete with PayPal and Apple Pay. So the big banks, including Wells Fargo, Bank of America, JP Morgan Chase, and 4 others, are collaborating to launch a digital wallet for online shopping. The digital wallet will be linked to customers' debit and credit cards and will be managed by early warning services. So what I was saying before when I was muted was that early warning services sounds like a really ominous name for a company, right? To be named here, but the bank-owned company that operates the money transfer service for Zelle. And Zelle's been tied up in their own debacles as of lately. We've seen them not want to return customers' funds who have been scammed and duped. And it's so easy to send a payment to the wrong location. Cheryl, I mean, I know you're with me on this. You want to send that $1 test transaction first, right? Just to make sure you're sending it to the right person. So although the digital wallet will operate separately from Zelle, Early Warning Services plans to begin rolling out the new product in the second half of this year. So this year, 2023, they're going to roll that out. This launch is aimed at competing with third-party wallet operations or operators such as PayPal and Apple Pay. So I'm assuming they're going to include Google Wallet in that because I'm almost certain they have a good market share as far as wallets go. I know I use that. I just used it at the store like, an hour ago. And the goal is to help the banks retain control over their customer relationships, which they are worried about losing. I mean, yeah, they should be worried. And it's such a pain to see these big banks, right? These billion-dollar, 100-year corporations. They always are resting on their hands. They're not innovating. They're always reacting to other companies that are more chippy. They're more just, now I wouldn't say cutthroat, maybe a little bit of that too, but they're just more aggressive and focused on giving customers what they want, right? More value, and they're just reacting to what they see. And I know they've had big issues with Apple Pay because they do take a small percentage, a small cut of each transaction, and they don't want to see their profit margins being infringed upon. And they also don't want to see their market share slip away. They can see that Apple was slowly but surely getting into the financial space, and they're going to probably start chipping away at some of their services. And we'll see how they compete. The Zelle platform seems to be used by a lot of people, but a lot of people don't like it from what I've seen, and it's had a lot of bad press. If you like Zelle, drop something in the chat right now. Let me know if you use Zelle. Do you like it? Do you prefer another platform? Because I've used it before just because so many people kind of require it, and it's just available to be used. And by the way, with Zelle, just if you don't know about Zelle that they do have a standalone app. So if you have something like the SoFi credit card, like I use that all the time, been using that for like the past 3 years. It doesn't have compatibility within their app with Zelle, but you can download the Zelle app and link your debit card, your SoFi debit card, or any other debit card for that matter, and transfer funds using their app. A lot of people don't know about that. So next, the credit score change could work to your benefit. So this credit score change could work. As of July 1st, 2022, there's a required 1-year waiting period before unpaid medical debt is allowed to show up on your credit report. This change was put into place largely to give consumers more time to appeal rejected insurance company claims before having their debt show up as delinquent. Also, of July 22, credit bureaus must remove all paid medical debts from consumer credit reports. That's a big deal because normally debts and collections can take 7 years to drop off your credit report, even once they're fully paid off. So that's a great thing, right? I mean, so many people, I feel like there's got to be a large percentage of people that have an issue with some medical debt. If you had like a lapse in your health insurance, maybe you were in between jobs, this could definitely be helping you out if you had some debt, medical debt. So next, Generation X carries the most credit card debt. All right. And when it comes to credit card debt, Generation X may be struggling the most. Wow, they're struggling. They should be making the most, right? If you're in the Generation X, you're like, what, 20, 30 years into, 20 to 30 years into your career. I mean, you should be in really good shape. All right. You probably have some of the highest incomes in America, I would assume. The average amount owed by people in that cohort is $7,000, according to a new report from New York Life. That compares with $6,700 for baby boomers and $5,900 for millennials and $2,800 for Gen Zers. Research from creditcards.com also shows more members of Gen X, which is 77%, have any type of personal debt compared with other age groups. Baby boomers are defined as people of ages between 59 and 77. Gen Xers are from 43 to 58, and millennials are from 27 to 42, and Gen Z is 11 to 26. We're count, wow, 11. If there's any, there might be some 11-year-olds with the credit cards if they're an authorized user, but that's funny to see that age being quoted here. But I just want to respond to some comments I see. We got Barbara Brinson. What's up? Hey, Barbara, how you doing? Ms. Barnes says, get rid of Zelle. It was lengthy and error prone. Really? Okay, I didn't know you had such a bad experience with Zelle. We're going to talk about that. Dark Dude, what's up? You said, Cal, Zelle works. It's really free, unlike some of the others. Okay, so yeah, I think the others, the problem is that they basically falsely incorporate this waiting period just to get you to pay that, what, 1.5%, so they can get a little bit of a fee out of you. But really, you know, I remember when Google Pay first came out, it was giving instant transfers, so you could instantly transfer money to a friend or family, whatever, for free. And it was like that for like 2 or 3 years, and then all of a sudden they revised the app, they updated it, and now they made it work. They basically backtracked. I couldn't believe it. They basically made it a worse deal for people, and they made it just like PayPal and Cash App and all the others. It was a real shame. All right, so next, new credit consumers are good risks. So this is something that a lot of people might have been dealing with when they first got into the credit card game. If you know, usually if you're new to credit, you're like considered the most risky, but this is kind of rebutting that a little bit. Qualifying for a loan or credit card for the first time can be a challenge because lenders are wary of extending credit to those with no credit history. But once they've been approved, new to credit customers tend to perform as well or better than borrowers with established credit, according to a new study from TransUnion. In the United States, new to credit consumers with credit scores in the near prime tier, so that's basically prime is like good or very, you know, it's good to excellent. Super prime is going to be above that, and that's going to be excellent credit. So prime is just good credit. So I would say around 700 FICO score. Consumers with credit scores in the near prime tier had lower delinquency rates than credit served consumers with the same age and risk profiles on the initial credit cards they open, an indication that many are careful to make their timely payments on their first ever credit cards in order to preserve ongoing access to this new source of credit. All right, that's great. People seem to have more of an understanding nowadays that you don't want to mess up your credit. I know a lot of us, when you get your first credit card, what do? You max that thing out. All right, you get a $500 limit from your Capital One Quicksilver card. That's where a lot of you started, I know. And you just go ahead and you pay for what did you buy? If you drop that in the comment section, what did you buy with your first credit card? Was it something? If it was something silly, I want to know about it so we can laugh about that. We don't got to laugh at you. We're just gonna laugh about the situation, okay? But what did you buy? I'm trying to think of what did I do with my first credit card, and I think it was from like Open Sky or something terrible like that with like a $49 annual fee, and I want to say I just used it to pay for a bill. I'm gonna have to think about that. So next, credit card charges disputes on the rise as consumers cheat businesses. So consumers are cheating businesses out of payments at increasing rates by fraudulently disputing credit card charges that they genuinely made. So incidents of friendly fraud. I love these terms, these new phrases that are coming up every single week, right? Friendly fraud, quiet quitting, financial infidelity. So many are coming out. These are catchphrases, right? I'm committing these to memory. So friendly fraud are up to anywhere from 20 to 30% in 2022, depending on the market. Friendly fraud includes an array of situations in which a customer improperly disputes a charge on their credit card bill, including when they forgot about a purchase or don't recognize the name of the merchant on their bill. Now listen, I got to tell you, merchants have some weird names on these bills sometimes. And I'm looking at the bill, I'm looking at my transaction, I'm like, I definitely didn't buy that. You know what I mean? Sometimes it doesn't have anything, the name doesn't have anything to do with the service or product. But so they don't realize that a friend or family member used their card to buy something, or I've seen that happen many times. I mean, I've seen that recently happen to someone where they had a friend, they basically had like an Apple card, let's say, with family members on the same Apple account, right? I forgot what it's called, Apple Wallet or something. Basically, you can add family members onto your Apple family account, and they were all using the same Apple card, and so they didn't realize that they were just getting random charges from different places, every month or so. So they had to nip that in the bud. So they don't realize that friends or family members are using the card to buy something or intentionally spend money with the intent of disrupting the charge after the fact. Now, this sounds a lot like, what do you call it? When you basically reverse the charge, I forget the technical term for it, but you basically call up customer service, tell them, hey, that's an invalid charge, a chargeback. I just remembered, a chargeback. And I think this is what this is referring to. It just didn't list it. I've never thought to use that. I recently came across somebody giving some advice saying that if like a merchant does you dirty, they do you wrong, and you just want to stick it to them, use the chargeback. I know that's something that you can't overuse, but I'm not too familiar with that process. So I would not advise doing that if you don't have a legitimate reason to. All right, I just want to go. I see some comments here about how you use your first card. Danny said, my first credit card I purchased, I took me and my homegirl out for sushi. This was when I was under 18. That's a nice use for a credit card. That's you got something to eat. That's a good experience right there. I don't mind that. I wouldn't say that. I would say that's a good use right there. Our fantastic life. What's up? What's up? You said, I maxed out my first credit card on women. So you were stunting. You were tricking. Is that appropriate? Okay. And you crying face emoji. Yeah, that's funny, man. Where I hope they were impressed with you. I hope you got exactly, you got everything you wanted, you know, out of the transaction, because that's mostly what it was, a transaction. Shanika said, first car was in college. I was getting food delivered every day. Cooking became a thing of the past. Okay. So you basically, so Shanika, you must be younger, because I mean, I think when I was in college, we didn't have food delivery. So good for you. Listen, the young people, you had DoorDash, you got Grubhub, you got what else? Uber Eats. Um, Listen, anytime you're using food for your card, that's sustenance, right? You need that. So that's a necessity. Nina Perez, how you doing? You said, hey, Uncle, I'm your favorite fan. Listen, thank you for tuning into this one. You're going to like the show. I'm glad to have you here. Cheryl was very responsible. She said, I got my first card when I was in college. I bought clothes. I didn't max it out. So it depends on, were you getting like Fendi belts? Were you getting like, you know what I mean? Were you getting like the designer stuff? Because that's not going to go far, right? So that might be a little bit of a word. That's not food. That's not in the necessity category. But listen, it's your first card, so it's not going to be the best use. Okay, she said it was at Sears. All right, that's a little better. Zeke said, I hope there were some fine girls. They better be some fine girls, right? They better be fine. You spending all that money, you maxing out your card. Okay, Chilsey's right there with me. He said, my first card was Open Sky, then Quicksilver, next Navy Federal. Okay, so then you basically leveled up. For Open Sky, right, with a $50 annual fee, Quicksilver, hopefully that was a no annual fee card. Quicksilver is like the premier subprime entry level credit card issuer. Then Navy Federal is like the top tier. Everybody loves Navy Federal, great customer service. You're getting a huge credit limit, sometimes off the bat. And yeah, so that's great trajectory. Mojo said, my first card was a Wells Fargo bank. I think it's Wells Fargo Secure card that I put $300 on, and it graduated. And right now it's my oldest card at 15 years now. So you're 15 years in the game. Really good, Joe. All right, so let's get back to the news here. So next story, we have credit card charge. So let me change the title. So here's the story. The Federal Trade Commission ordered Credit Karma to pay $3 million to customers it misled through the use of dark patterns. The company falsely told consumers they were pre-approved for credit card offers they usually did not qualify for, and even stated that they had 90% odds of being approved. The FTC accused Credit Karma of wasting consumers' time and potentially damaging their credit scores. Credit Karma disputes the FTC claims and states that there was no mention of dark patterns in their agreement with the FTC, and the FTC has also ordered Credit Karma to stop making false claims. So also you should know that they fined Credit Karma $3 million. Just a little bit more story here. The dark patterns is basically a user interface. It's referring to the user interface that they display to you to sign up for something, and it basically tries to trick you into not into signing up or into not unsigning. So they're basically trying to get you to do exactly what they want, and they're trying to visually deter you and distract you from doing the opposite, and basically losing them money. And it seems to have affected a limited number of people, because they sent emails to these people saying that they were pre-approved when they actually weren't. They were using their own system to determine that. But the only company that can pre-approve you for a credit card is the credit card issuer themselves. No third party can do that. Next, we have credit card debt prevents nearly 20% of Americans from becoming homeowners. And this was news to me. That's a significant portion of people. So, as Americans deal with high inflation and a heated housing market, growing credit card debt poses a major barrier to home ownership. Credit card debt has prevented 1 in 5, or around 18% of those with credit card debt, from purchasing a home last year, according to a study by Clever. Credit card debt was a larger threat to home ownership than student loans and medical debt, a Rocket Home survey also noted. So this probably has a lot to do with the fact that they say don't sign up for any new credit cards, or basically any new, you know, revolving or installment accounts while you're trying to close on a house. So as soon as you start looking and you contact a realtor, you don't want to touch your credit at all. Nobody should be running your credit. No new credit cards, even though I know we're all enthusiasts, right? But you got to put that on hold. You have to be in gardening mode, meaning you have to be, waiting on the sideline and protecting your credit report. And so you don't want anything new to appear on there. I would like to know some more specifics about if that's the only case where it was hurting your chances, or if it was involved in like your credit, your debt to income ratio, which is also a big deal. If you have your credit, your balances are too high, then that's going to really affect the amount of home, or the price of the home that you can qualify for. So if you're like one of those Gen Xers that we were talking about earlier, where they had $7,000 in credit card debt, they have to incorporate that debt into the calculation, into what home you can qualify for, because you have to make payments on that. It's called debt service. So how long do collections stay on your credit report? So a collection account sometimes refers to a charge-off, can occur if you miss payments or ignore a debt you owe. If you neglect to pay a bill, whether it's a credit card, medical bill, or utility bill, it can end up going to a collection agency. With a credit card balance, the lender usually waits until your payment is overdue by at least 6 months. When the creditor decides there's a little chance of collecting the money you owe, your account could be sold to a collection agency. The agency will then likely report your delinquent accounts to the credit bureaus, and a debt can be sold to a collection agency if you miss several payments on an account. A collection account stays on your credit report for approximately 7 years, and collection accounts decrease your score, but the impact lessens after 2 years. So that little tidbit I didn't know before. So you basically, for 48 months, it's gonna highly impact your score, but after 2 years, it starts to lessen in its impact. Now, the further it gets away from when you made the error. All right, so guys, I know that on my last stream, I believe it was my last one, I spoke to one of my audience members who said that they were actually affected by the FTX collapse, and that was a shame. I think he lost like $1,800. It's a sad story. Everybody here could use I could use $1,800 right now. So that's a shame. But FTX owes money to Netflix, Binance, and the Wall Street Journal. How is that? They had their little tentacles in all areas. They had a government, left wing, right wing, right? It's the list everyone has been waiting for, minus 9.7 million redacted customer names. But the 116-page FTX creditor list, which names companies such as Netflix and Apple, still paints a comprehensive picture of the now bankrupt crypto enterprise's reach and the impact of its collapse. Among those listed are media companies like the Wall Street Journal, Fortune, Fox Broadcasting, CoinDesk, as well as big crypto firms such as exchanges like Coinbase, Binance, American Airlines. Are the airlines too? Spirit Airlines. Spirit was affected, really? And Southwest Airlines, as well as the Stanford University, were also listed in the document. This list names Gisele Bündchen, Charitable Giving as a creditor. The Brazilian supermodel and husband Tom Brady were famously invested in the company, even appearing in the Super Bowl ad. And they're actually getting sued, by the way, which is a little surprising. So I think Shaquille O'Neal's named on that, and several, like Steph Curry is probably in there as well. So this is definitely a huge, just a huge fiasco. And if you haven't yet, please like this stream for me. For you guys want to see more live streams just like this, you got to like it, get those likes up. And when you do, it's going to look just like that. It's like a little fireworks display, you know? All right, deep dimples. I see you said when I was a teenager, T-Mobile definitely stayed on my credit report for 7 years. I'm sorry to hear that. ISO Junior, you said crypto's always been sus to me. Thankfully, I didn't have the interest in taking the financial risk to invest. Yeah, listen, I'm just gonna highlight that last word you said, invest. I never saw crypto as investing. I see investing, and we can look up the definition, but I've never seen crypto as an investment, just because to me, an investment is a long term, like a 5+ year time horizon. So that's a long term thing where you're expecting to just leave your money, sit it there into one valuable, equity, and let that build up in value. And crypto has always been billed as a get rich quick scheme. Anytime I have deaf ears to anything that's get rich quick, because I vehemently disagree with that concept. It's either illegal or it's, highly volatile like crypto is. And it's just a huge speculative, entity. So I agree. It's always been sus. It's something I stayed away from. And I'm glad you did too. Deep Dibble says it's a scam. Largely, it is a scam. I'm fine with calling it that. Largely, it is. All right, so next story. The CFPB wants information about consumer credit cards. So the CFPB is the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. You should know about that. I have a link to them on my website just because they're the governing body that kind of oversees the financial companies. So credit card companies, banks, they issue fines. They issued a fine to Credit Karma for $3 million. And they've been pretty active as of the last few years. And they basically are looking out for consumers. And they do research, case studies. So a lot of information comes out of there. And so the CFPB is asking consumers and others about their experiences with credit cards. The information is to be used in a review of the industry that the CFPB does every single year. The report that is to include this feedback is mandated by the Credit Card Accountability, Responsibility, and Disclosure Act, which is CARD for short. It aims to help determine if regulatory adjustments are needed. Examples of things the CFPB would like to hear about are terms of credit card agreements, practices of the credit card issuers, and let's stop on the practices of credit card issuers. I think the number 1 or 2 practices that you would like to see stop is credit limit decreases. Am I right? If I'm right or wrong, let me know in the comments. I think credit limit decreases is something that you would probably want to see stop, because that comes out of the blue. You never know when it's going to happen, and credit card companies can just do this without warning, and it hurts people's FICO scores. Very concerning. And probably canceling cards outright. Maybe they need a legitimate reason to cancel a card on you. I would add that in there. If you can think of any others that need to stop, let me know. And maybe I can even make a whole video about this. So practices of credit card issuers, effectiveness of disclosures, and the adequacy of consumer protections. Other examples include credit cards cost, availability, and product innovation. I don't think people have a problem with the cost. I mean, we got people paying for exorbitant annual fees like the Amex Platinum, right? It's like $700 now, and it's probably going to go higher with inflation. So those are just a few things that just come to mind immediately. And also, I should let you know that the CFPB is also a good website to go to for filing complaints. So if you ever do have your credit limit decrease, or you just feel like there's a charge on your credit on your bank account that you think should be taken care of by them, or maybe they gave you bad customer service, you can actually file a complaint on the government website, and they have to respond to you within 15 days. I don't know if you knew that. There's a link on my website to that form. And ISO Junior said, what's the point? Let me get you up here. What's the point of even offering a credit card if they're just going to be nonstop credit decreases without valid explanations? Yeah, I can't. You know what? I agree. It's really a shame because I've heard this about the X1 card. Unfortunately, I had started with a $15,500 limit with them, and I've heard other reports that people start with these high limits. So they get you in the door, you get all excited, right? Because they pre-approve you for this high limit. You finally get approved, and a couple months down the line, they just lower it back down. So it was kind of like a huge, it's almost similar to what Credit Karma did, because they just waved a shiny object in front of you just to get you to sign up, harming your credit report, your score, and then later on giving you the limit they actually wanted to. And that's messed up. All right, so let's talk about the X1 card. I've been mentioning them. I have the X1 card. Me and my wife use it. And I think it has some I think the original X1 card has some decent use cases. I would not suggest this card to everyone. It's a little hard to use in ways, the original is, but at least it's free. Now, I'm having some trouble getting behind this one. So this is the new X1 Plus card coming soon. So the X1 Plus card is built with travel and premium experiences in mind. The card will build upon the X1 credit card and will offer smart credit limits, same rewards program plus more, and disposable virtual cards that keep your details private. It will be offering complimentary lounge passes worldwide for members, and up to 4 additional passengers if a flight is delayed by the 1 hour or more. So it will enable on-demand lounge pass purchases. Is yet to be determined exactly what that means. Allowing cardholders to access more than 1,000 priority lounges. Cardholders automatically earn Forex points on Expedia, Hotels.com, and VRBO, while continuing to benefit from the X1 Cards rewards program. So right on the top, I think that they should have included Airbnb. That would have been a big include. Hotels.com is great, Expedia is cool, but you need Airbnb in there to make it worth your while. And here's why. Let's go to the second slide. Cardholders can redeem points at additional merchants, including hotels such as Four Seasons, Intercontinental and Westin, and airlines such as Emirates, Hawaiian Airlines, and JSX. You get smart baggage protection and enhanced coverage, including trips cancellation, up to $5,000 per person per trip. It offers purchase protection up to $10,000 per occurrence, including porch piracy. That's interesting. That's pretty cool, porch piracy. But I think you could probably, and correct me if I'm wrong, I haven't used the other credit cards feature of, item, protection. But I'm pretty sure that you could probably use other credit cards item protection for the same purpose. If you had something stolen from your porch, and listen, let me know in the comments if you've actually done this before. If you had something stolen from your porch and you were able to file a claim with your credit card, if you were able to do that. So the card has a new design with more privacy, where you can remove all details from the card and even change the colorway. It's still made with the 17 grams of stainless steel, and the X1 Plus will come with an annual fee of $75 per year. That's the big kicker, $75. Okay, so they basically, this is a weird annual fee. This because usually it's going to be either like $50, like the Navy Federal flagship card is like a $50 annual fee, or it's going to be completely up to the level of a Chase Sapphire Preferred with a $95 annual fee. So $75 makes it that they can basically claim that, hey, we're less expensive than the Chase Sapphire Preferred, but we have most of the features of it, when it really doesn't. I think that they probably should have, I don't know what they should have done here. Annual fee, when you have an annual fee on the card, you better have a good reason, a real good reason to charge that fee. I don't think they have enough of a reason here. And when you look at this card, I like the new colorways. You get gold, you get rose gold. That's cool. I always like to have that choice. And I've heard from, and just give you some behind the scenes information. It for depending on these companies how large they are, it actually costs them upwards of $50 per card to make these metal cards. So I guess you could probably, if you're a bigger bank, you could probably cut better deals. But as I'm being told from smaller companies, it costs them $50. So that's pretty steep. But I like some of these. I like the $50,000. The Porch Piracy sounds good. Who knows how that's gonna work in reality. The purchase, the trip cancellation of $5,000 per person. That's kind of a necessity. That's good to see. But let's go back to the first slide. It says that you will be able to purchase on-demand lounge passes. What does that mean? Is that, I think typically it takes like a $50 to $60 fee to get into a lounge. So are they going to charge like $20 at a reduced rate? Like, I want to get into a lounge for free. Give me a card that gets me in the lounge for free, like the Venture X card. This doesn't do that here. It says it will offer complimentary lounge passes worldwide for up to 4 passengers. So I think there might be a limitation on how many lounge passes you will get here. I do like the fact that you can take or remove the name and credentials from the back of the card, because the current X1 card displays that on the back. So it'll be like the Apple card does, where it just has just your name on the front. That's good to see. What are you guys saying? What do you guys think about this X1 card? Oh, Kamar, you said, what's up, by the way? Welcome to the stream. You said X1 cut my friend's limit for spending too much. For spending too much? Really? Credit card issuers really like you to spend. You would think they would raise it instead of doing that, unless he was, unless he was carrying the balance. Sometimes if you do carry the balance, then they see that as a liability, and they don't want you to run that limit up and then, not pay it. So that's a real shame. So they went from $30,000 to $10,000. That's a huge decrease. 3 times decrease. Terrible. Zeke said, "Oh, I'm gonna say HE double hockey sticks. I don't know what I can say on YouTube. No, I don't want that card. I have the old one. I hope that they don't have to switch to that one. So no, they're not gonna switch you out. This is a completely new card. I hope I didn't confuse anybody. This is a completely new card. And it's something that you can upgrade to if you want." Deep Dimple said, "I always felt iffy about the X1." Well, I think X1's a legit team. They've been in business for 5+ years now. They've actually been around for quite some time. They were just on a wait list for multiple years. That's the thing. They just opened up just a few months ago to new customers. DJ Bruce Wayne, what's up, man? You said, "I will wait till they give more incentives on the X1." Yeah, right now they don't give any incentives. They give like a mystery box incentives. I think they're going to do the same thing with this card. And I mean, usually you're going to get like 4 or 5x on your rewards points, which is not good. I mean, the standard entry bonus for a card, even the Quicksilver card, gives you $200 when you spend like $700 or $500. I mean, give people a good reason to sign up. I agree. So ISO Junior said the X1 Plus shouldn't have been a Visa Infinite. Plus, I hope it offers a complimentary Priority Pass restaurant access. Okay. So why shouldn't it have been Visa Infinite? Oh, you said it should have been. I'm sorry. That would have been cool if they made it Visa Infinite. If you don't know, there are actually several tiers of Visa cards. You have your standard Visa, you have the Visa Signature, and the Visa Infinite. The differences, there are many differences, right? But the major difference that a lot of people don't know about is that the Visa Signature Card almost always comes with a $5,000 limit at minimum, and the Visa Infinite comes with a $10,000 limit at minimum. And there's going to be extra perks, like you're going to get like DoorDash, service for a few months. You're going to get other small perks associated with these cards based on the tier of Visa card that you have. Patrick Patterson said they put holds on your account. So that's the X1 card. If you rack up too much debt, I've been using it fairly on a pretty daily basis as of the last 2 months. They have not done that to me yet, but I've definitely heard more and more opinions that are testimonials that people have had that experience. Also, you said, is it a soft pull? Yeah, it is a soft pull to pre-qualify. They will show your credit limit. That's why a lot of people have been hopping on. And plus, it's a metal card, man. It's a nice quality, hardware-wise, it's a nice quality card to have, and it looks good. And I told this to somebody the other day. I said the card looks a lot better than it actually is in actuality, because the problem is not on the earning side, it's on the redemption side. The earning side is going to get you at least 2x back. It's gonna to 3x back if you spend over $15,000 in a year's time. But the problem is the redemption side. There's only like 50 or so merchants that you can redeem full for that full value for, which is going to be a little bit of a problem. So for me, like I'm used to redeeming my rewards and cash back on a monthly basis. I really can't do that with this card because I have to wait until I fly somewhere and I can use the whole rewards balance to pay for that purchase. And so if you do decide to get cash back, it's going to be at a reduced rate. And so if you're at that, so let's say you earn 2x back on every purchase and you decide to pull out cash back, it's going to end up getting you like 1.8% back or 1.6% back. So that's the problem with the card. John Moore said that new X1 is inferior to other travel cards. I will wait for that one until they are more established. Okay, listen, that's a reasonable limit and barrier to set because they haven't been around that long. Listen, Chase is the biggest credit card issuer and they've been around for what, 150 years? Who knows? Like if somebody knows it, I'm sure somebody's going to correct me. Like 150 years. It's a long time. And you can trust them. Patrick Peterson, you said, do you have a link for the pre-qualification? I'm going to try to find it for you, okay? And I'll drop it in the comment section. Let me try to find it right now. Guys, just bear with me. I'll find that link for you. Maybe I can just throw it on my website real quick. I think I have it available. Okay, so right now it's live on my website. So if you click the link in the pinned comment on this stream, you're going to see it close to the top on my website, okay? So it'll be available there for you to click on if you want. I appreciate that. ISO Junior said, what I'm impressed most about is the 4x points back purchased on the X1 Plus's travel partners. Okay. Yeah, I mean, listen, if you're travel focused, but there's other cards that you can use, like the Capital One VictorX, the Chase Sapphire Preferred. They're gonna get you sizable bonuses on travel. So, it just depends on what card you prefer. F Davis, thank you, sir. Man, listen, always looking out. Thank you for the super chat. You said great stream and good info on the X1 Plus card. Man, no doubt. I really appreciate you attending the stream with me. All right, so let's get back to the news here. Make sure we're in it. We can't forget the other big news story this week. So, PayPal accounts breached in large-scale credential stuffing attack. This is the first time I heard about this phrase, but PayPal is sending out data breach notifications to thousands of users who had their accounts accessed through credential stuffing attacks that expose some personal data. Credential stuffing are attacks where hackers attempt to access an account by trying out username and password pairs sourced from data leaks on various websites. This type of attack relies on an automated approach, with bots running lists of credentials to stuff into login portals for various services. Credential stuffing targets users that employ the same password for multiple online accounts, which is known as password recycling. All right, so listen, we have one thing that you guys got to know, all right, is that we have a phrase for every little thing that's happening right now. We got password recycling. We got credential stuffing. It's credential stuffing is not something that you have during Thanksgiving. All right, this is an attack on your passwords, and password recycling is not something that you do every Monday when you take out the garbage. All right, this is amazing. So one thing that you should know that I do is I usually use Google Chrome. Now, I haven't done extensive research on, I know there's always going to be conflicting opinions, but I found that for my purposes, that using Google Chrome to manage my passwords has been so easy and seamless. And what I usually do is I'll ask Google to suggest a strong password. Now, now Google is managing this, but I haven't had an issue with this over the years that I've been doing it. And so it just basically means that it creates a super strong password, and it just automatically saves it inside of my Google account, and it just ensures that all my passwords are different. And Bruce Wayne, man, thank you for, if I can get you up here. Thank you for the super chat, Bruce Wayne. You said I now have an overall total card limit of $112,000 to start 2023. DJ, that's a huge limit. If you're over 100K, that's amazing. If you're also over 100K, let me know in the comments. I gotta say, DJ Bruce Wayne, for you, I don't have enough cash in this money gun to adequately show 100,000, but man, that's amazing. So, yeah, so if you were affected by, if you're using PayPal, you definitely want to make sure that you're using a different password than you do with your other accounts, okay? Next, we have Amex removes Frontier as a Platinum Card airline credit option. So American Express Platinum card holders have recently experienced a reduction in their airline fee credit benefit. Previously, cardholders could choose from a list of domestic airlines such as Alaska, American Delta, Frontier, Hawaiian, JetBlue, Southwest, Spirit, and United to have fees rebated when they use their card to pay for those fees, up to a cap of $200 per year. However, the recent change in the benefit now limits the list of airlines that cardholders can choose from. So listen, it's always a shame. And I think it's become like too much of a trend, I would say, with these credit cards slowly rolling back their rewards. We saw with the Capital One Venture X, they had to roll back the restaurant credits that they would give you when you got into a lounge. So if you went to a lounge with a restaurant, you'd be able to get a certain amount of credit for dining there. Now you can't, and it's just a shame to see them roll that back. It's kind of like going back on a promise, So next, No Synchrony. We are not playing this game. And if you guys, this was a really interesting story. I posted these last few stories on my weekly newsletter. You definitely want to take advantage of that. If you go over to my website, sign up for the there's a sign up page on the homepage of my website where you can get your 12 free credit limit increase hacks cheat sheet, which looks like this. You also get access to the airline travel partner lookup tool, which really helps you if you're trying to do award travel, just kind of finding the right airline and that you want to travel with, and then pairing that up with the credit card point system that you currently have. It'll tell you what airlines that you want to transfer those points to. Just an easy way to do that. You're going to get all that when you sign up for my weekly newsletter, and you'll get, news stories like this. So here is one person's recent experience with Synchrony Bank suddenly lowering their credit limit. So they said, I was in shock when I saw that my credit limit on one of my credit cards had been drastically reduced from $5,000 to $1,000. My credit score is currently at 791. That's excellent credit, guys. I hope they're referring to the FICO score, because your FICO and Vantage score can vary. I was just telling my coworker this. They can vary pretty substantially. And I couldn't understand why this had happened to me. So after digging, I found out that it was due to my credit card issuer, Synchrony. So Synchrony is the culprit here, right? They had made this decision based on my credit profile, which at the time had zero revolving debt and only a car payment and an installment loan with an RV. I knew I had to take action, so I called Synchrony and requested that they close all three of my credit lines with them. So they basically set all their Synchrony associated cards out and said, listen, close this one, close that one, close this one. I'm done with you guys. So they called the bluff, and I was prepared to fight, but to my surprise, they quickly backpedaled and not only gave me back everything they had taken, but even added an extra $2,000 to my credit limit. That's amazing. This is the first time I've heard about something like this happening, where you actually not only got what you had taken from you, stolen from you, you could say, but you got even more. Now, are you going to trust that they're going to hold you to that limit and they're not just going to go back next month and reduce it again? I wouldn't have a lot of, I wouldn't feel safe with that. I wouldn't feel confident, but at least they got it in the moment. Yeah, so F. David said, good for that person. Yeah, man, it was a good night for them. Oh, and I got some big limits here. You said, Danny said, I'm at $160,000 in overall credit. Wow, Danny, that's gonna be this year. You're gonna get to 200, man. You're probably gonna start applying for those business cards as well. John Moore said, I'm at 124,000. Well, you're well funded, John. Well funded. F. Davis said, I'm over 105,000. Man, I got some big limit card holders in my on my team here. DJ Bruce Wayne said, give the knowledge cow. Remember, with big banks, you cannot go wrong. Always invest as well as with big banks. So, and yeah, you should know with the Synchrony story, guys, you got to know that you have to diversify. This is something that Nino, if you're in the chat, man, so give me a quick shout out. And he definitely told me that you need to diversify everything. That includes your bank accounts. That includes your credit card accounts. Investment accounts. You want to diversify as much as possible. Your revenue streams, you want them to be balanced, because you don't want any one account or any one stream of revenue or what have you to go down, because you don't want to have all your eggs in one basket. And you just got to make that a part of your life's strategy. Just your strategy overall in life. Diversify everything. That should be your default state. Got to be your default state. Because if you have credit with other banks like Chase, I mean, if Synchrony goes down, guess what? You have a sizable amount of credit available with Chase, and you're still good. You're still golden, and you know not to do business with Synchrony again. So guys, did anybody here get a credit limit increase? Did you get approved for a brand new credit card? Let me know in the chat. Let me know what you got approved for. I want to know what are your wins over the past week. Christoph said, I'm over 275,000 on my personal side. So Christoph, that's just your personal side. 275K. That's amazing. What is your average, Christoph, what is your average credit limit per card? I'm curious. It's got to be like $30,000 per card plus. That's huge. And congratulations, by the way. All right, so Nightrin Entertainment said my Discover went up to $25,000. Congratulations on that. Congratulations. Walter Hallman said, not a win, but unbeknownst to me, my personal MasterCard was upgraded to a World MasterCard. Okay. Now the that's going to be another slight difference. The MasterCards, they don't really give you the different tiers of those MasterCards. I haven't seen that they will promise a minimum starting limit, but they will give you some added benefits. So you will get some extra benefits there. I'm just not sure which ones. Good job on that. I also said, Law, the same old Synchrony. This lame old bank's always controversial. Yeah, they are controversial. Unfortunately, they offer some pretty good cards at times. Like the Verizon Visa card is awesome. Oh, it's good. It's good. Okay, I don't want to go overboard. It's a good card. The PayPal Mastercard, that's a good card. They made it even better last year with the 3% back in on PayPal purchases. So that's really easy to use. Get that 3% back, unlimited. They have the Amazon store card. I use that personally all the time. So they have some good products there. The problem is that they just have bad customer service overall. They have some shady business practices where they cancel cards and lower credit limits. And you should know, guys, there's some other credit card companies that will lower your limit. X1 is one of them. FNBO, unfortunately, is one of them I've seen come up a lot lately. And I think those are the worst ones. Comenity has a bad reputation also, but I haven't seen people talking about them lowering credit limits. John Moore said, I did an upgrade with the Capital One to the Venture X, so I bypassed the welcome bonus because I didn't want the hard inquiry. You know, John, I got some flack for that, John. I got somebody was in my comment section saying that, you know, you did it wrong, you missed out on the bonus, but I did the same thing for the same reason that you're talking about. I didn't want the added hard inquiry, and also I wanted a bird in the hand is more than two in the bush. And so I know that card can be hard to get. And so I wanted to be sure that I was able to upgrade to that card. And so I didn't get access to the sign-up bonus. I knew that I already had more inquiries on my report, and credit card companies consider that credit seeking, and they don't like to see that. Christoph said, my average limit is actually $20,000. Okay. So you just have a good amount of cards. I think my average limit is around the $12,000 to $15,000 mark. So I'm still behind you there. Plumber said, so this is like a little rumor here, but we can talk about it. So Plumber, you said, I heard the Capital One is taking over the Apple Card from Goldman Sachs. If there's I haven't seen a report on that. I did see like some YouTube videos that were talking about this. I didn't personally see the report. I don't think that would happen. Goldman Sachs only has two products that we know of, right? They got the GM Rewards card and the Apple Card. It's only been 2 years, 2+ years. I know the Apple Card has been unprofitable. You know, they've been letting a lot of people in the door. All you need is a 600 score to get the card, and that's been causing a problem with delinquencies. Christoph, you said, Cal, what you think about the Bread Cash Rewards credit card? You know, someone asked me about that maybe a few weeks ago. I need to look into and get more information on this card because multiple people have been talking about the Bread Cash Rewards card. I need to look into it. I'm not familiar with their reward structure and kind of the highlights of the card. I mean, we can look into it. How much time? It's 8 o'clock now. Yeah, I have to get back to you on that. Maybe I can add that into next week's stream, okay? And I'll do kind of an overview of the Bread Cash card. All right. The Baldy said, I got approved this week for my first business credit card on my brand new LLC for, wow, congratulations on the LLC. Really? That's really great. That's good to especially right now. I mean, you're gonna need some other source of income, and that's a really good to start something for yourself. I like that. And so it's for $12,800 for the credit limit, and it's an Amex Marriott Bonvoy business. Nice. Listen, for the new LLC, congrats on that. So guys, I do this every week, Sunday at 7 p.m. I'll be back next Sunday, 7 p.m. like clockwork. We're gonna be doing this 52 weeks a year. So come back and hang out with me. And guys, you guys have a great week. All right. I'll see you next week.